Welcome to What Burns Me Up, the podcast, your weekly dose of avoidance because life be lifing and we all need a break from the mundane. I am your host, Miss August, a wife, mother of four, and a beauty professional with well over a decade of experience as a model, makeup artist, and visual consultant. What burns me up is a phrase that we use when we have experienced our fair share of pet peeves. And guess what? I really like to say, child, I'm taking it back. This is a place where we come to blow things way out of proportion because we can. So let's talk about it. Get ready for some truth, some theories, some tricks, some tea, and some triggers, baby. What burns me up starts now. I told myself absolutely everything because I'm on a team.
I have to celebrate. Can we just take a moment to celebrate you for a second?
Hold on, let me see. I actually got some champagne too. Oh God, I left it.
Where's your champagne?
Oh God, I guess.
Go get your champagne because we have to celebrate you because we don't. You know who said this? I don't think you get celebrated enough. That was Rihanna.
And you know that's not one of my favorite clips.
You know what Rihanna says? I don't think you celebrate yourself enough.
Yeah, but you know.
So that's toast to you.
Let's do a toast.
And creating this beautiful space to get burnt up on. You know?
Now listen, and come on. Cheers. Bless you so much. Welcome to What Burns Me Up, the podcast. Look who I got, y'all. The Sharece Crawford extraordinaire. Come on with it.
First and
What's
foremost,
up, pretty?
I have to give you all of your glory because you created this fabulous setup.
Thank you.
And one thing that I talked about, and I was just talking about this earlier, is the growing pains. You talk about the growing pains.
Yeah.
How we don't celebrate ourselves enough for the small things. Right? Setting up your new podcast, just doing it. The thing you put off to Monday
every week.
Or the first of every month.
Oh, because it's the pandemic and you feel guilty with, which is my excuse. I feel guilty if I'm taken away from how I'm aiding my household in this moment when everybody's so unsure about their feelings. I kind of felt guilty even coming back on my podcast.
Because it's just
like it's nothing to laugh about right now.
But also your platform.
There's no toilet paper in Costco. What are we laughing at right now?
Oh, and I can tell there's a shortage because there's no toilet paper in restaurants and businesses who are also experiencing the same shortages. So this platform, girl, my bones just chilled.
Well, bless you.
Because the truth of the matter is these conversations are necessary.
We have to have them.
To show people, one, that you can not only be in the mess, but we can navigate through the mess together.
And laugh through it most times.
Oh, yes.
Because everything is funny.
I find
absolutely everything funny. I do. In the most daunting times, I find something to chuckle about. And I think laughter actually brings us the most healing. And so I'd rather take a whole lot of stuff serious, sound very serious about it, but I'm going to make a joke about it.
I mean, talk about the healing process because that's the first step, right? In this time of uncertainty, in this time of confusion, take time to meditate.
Yeah.
You know, I was dealing with, my program deals with incarcerated families in the community. Excuse me. We deal with incarcerated families in their community, in the school system, in the juvenile justice system, because we talked about family on the way over here. Yeah. But it was the wraparound support. And to your point of wanting to deal with your household. So imagine how many women are tending to the household. They're tending to the children. They're trying to navigate all the bills. They're trying to navigate the children's whereabouts throughout the day because some of them may or may not be in camp.
Yeah.
So you're right as a mother to now what we can do is leverage that platform to give some insight on how to calm those nerves.
Yeah.
So you can think more strategically, how to get still and meditate with the babies.
Yeah. So what do? What is your form of meditation? Because I can tell you mine, but what is your form of meditation?
You know, I like the sleep meditation. I will listen to something while I'll take just a 5 to 10 minute rest and I'll put it on the TV in the house and I will just let it play through the house. And literally, whatever my intention is, if I need to receive more support, if I need to be intentional about specific actions, if I want to feel more love, if I want to feel more energy, I will go and search for a specific topic that I'm currently frustrated about, or rather feel that there's a void, and then sit and take that time and lay down and listen to the meditation. I haven't gotten to, the butterfly legs yet, But I do the meditation I listen while I'm sleeping, and when I wake up, because it's called programming your subconscious mind. That is powerful.
Yeah. But you know what burns me up the most about meditation? Is that people always think that meditation is something, it is calming.
Yes.
When you speak of it, it becomes so taboo, especially in our community, that sometimes people don't know what their meditation, how do I want to say this?
Because your brain is constantly going.
There are different types of meditations, right?
It's true.
It's not always a slow Zen meditation. Sometimes just having time to yourself is a meditation. I can always remember growing up how my aunt never wanted nobody to disrupt her while she was getting ready or in the bathroom.
Creating your safe space. That's true.
And I, in these moments, find it so random to say that was probably her, quote unquote, meditating. Mm-hmm. You know, using the restroom, washing her behind. Those are forms of meditation. So, I love that you shared that you try to find your calmness and quietness, but I also think that meditation can also be something joyous or just whatever it is in solitude that you can connect with yourself. Jesus.
I'm gonna put a period on the end of that because that the period is there.
Yeah, I'm overly protective on making sure that I feel good within myself.
Yeah.
Almost to a point that God at some point years ago told me that it's starting to look like vanity, August. But not to the world, but to him. Because I was taking more reverence in how I was dealing with my upkeep, how I wasn't tolerating certain behaviors, how I was refusing it, but he didn't get the glory first. So now in probably the last 6 or 7 years, I've been absolutely intentional, not even through meditation, but through my day work and my intention to just always lean to him and tell him thank you for my right mind, for limbs of my body, and I'm about to get this baddie dress. Bless the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like things like that.
Those body dress. How about those shoes?
Okay, we're going to slip these on.
Okay,
so I like to meditate with you, Sharece.
You know,
you want to fold my legs.
See, I haven't gotten to that. That's a different type of meditation to your.
I'm not folding my legs. I'm not doing that. I only enjoy myself in quiet. I don't want to hear all of that other stuff. Don't tell me to stretch through it. I don't feel like it.
You're going to be surprised of how many people don't get to be still by themselves.
Yeah.
So that in itself is an accomplishment. And sometimes, here's the thing.
Are you the only child or you have siblings?
Oh, no, I have siblings.
See, I do too, but I spend a lot of time alone.
I'm one of 4.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm one of 3.
And we shared the same bed growing up.
Yeah, well, we all had the
first
same
3.
room,
so I was the baby at that time. Then the baby came. So we shared the same bedroom. My parents had a 2-bedroom apartment, and and then I became the middle child after my oldest sister sort of, she moved on in life and kind of was doing her own thing. So being the middle child was also like you had to be your own best friend.
I'm the middle child. So I totally understand it. Your own best friend and your own personal favorite.
You have
because
to.
You never get chose first as a middle child.
And only that, you're getting overlooked unintentionally. I'm going to give them a pass.
No, nobody means everybody. I think middle children are just built differently. You have to be the one who got to take it on the chin. You do. I'm really intentional about making sure that my baby middle child doesn't feel that way. No, but just make sure that I'm always pausing for him. Because he moves so much, but I always want to make sure that if he says something, I want to make sure that he has my undivided attention. I don't do it that much, okay? But when I'm being intentional about making sure, okay, I haven't connected with Honor today. So if he says something, whether it's, Mommy, can you get my T-Rex? I'm going to make sure I pause, let him know I heard him, and assist him.
First off, take a moment for Honor.
Wisdom, Honor, Chosen. Our oldest is Sadia. They're great guys
tell me about these babies' names.
Okay, you want to really know? So I didn't know the sex of my babies before they were born.
Oh my goodness! So did you intentionally not know?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I didn't want to know because I just don't see why I should care.
And people are paying big money to do gender reveals too.
That burns me
we
up.
have to celebrate.
Black people celebrate too much. I don't believe in celebrating not getting no gift. Matter of fact, you gotta come to my birthday party. But I don't believe in celebrating and somebody's not receiving a gift. And you knowing the sex of your child ain't no gift, child. You don't get gifts in gender reveals. I don't like that.
You know what? It is something that I think, to your point of earlier about having a reason to laugh and celebrate.
Yes.
I think we are so creative and so innovative.
Who invented the cookout?
I don't know who invented the cookout. I don't know who invented the gender reveal.
We don't know.
But guess what? We will find joy.
We are going
to figure out a way
it out. Listen, through a pandemic, through a global crisis, through a recession, we are going to find a way to celebrate. We don't have food in the refrigerator, but we will find a pan of macaroni and cheese.
We're going to find a way.
I'm like, how do people afford this? Food is so high. Every time I see a whole bunch of folks, like, how do people afford this? But I mind my business, and I say God is good, and I just I eat the plate.
You know what's so interesting? I'm working on my relationship with food. It's funny you would mention that because when I grew up, growing up in my community, I grew up in Congress Park, Southeast DC, and I was one of those people who always asked, "What about this? Well, what about that?
Okay.
What about this?
Okay.
What about that?" And we did not have high quality groceries where I was coming up. I mean, my parents did a good job with like making dinner every night, like 2 to 3 times a week, to be fair.
Yeah.
And my dad would do a good job with doing breakfast, but so it just came to rotation based on how much work they had to do outside the home.
Let's be clear.
And so that was with 2 parents in my home. So just imagine,
but two working parents outside of the home, because even when you still have like homemakers at home, they still work within the home. That doesn't make the work less, but
there you go.
It actually makes it more. But you can finagle
being a
it
parent
more.
is a full-time job.
Yeah,
being 2 parents in a 2-parent home. It's a full-time job,
and it's the most unfair job that you're gonna take on.
I'm telling you,
because you never know how your kids gonna grow up and appreciate you.
Oh, see, now you get.
You the one who wanted to talk about relationship, because we can skip the kids. Let's talk about men.
You know what?
We can skip the kids. We can talk about men.
Fair enough.
When I first met you at Brashawn's party.
Shout out to Brashawn.
What's going on, girl?
Warrior women of the world.
Please.
Salute to you.
Download the app. Period. No, seriously. Download the app.
That's another part. Back to that.
Download that Black Woman's app.
A warrior. You are. Yes.
.com. Download Brashawn's things. Bless your heart and all your parts. No, but for real, when I first met you at Prashant's party, we accidentally sat next to each other because we were waiting for the premiere of her being on television. It was a beautiful thing. That was such an amazing event. I'm still grateful to this day that I got to connect with you in that way. We started talking about men when we
did.
Randomly. It was 3 of us sitting there, nice guy, but we randomly just started talking about men and relationships, and now you're courting.
I am courting.
How does
intentionally.
that feel?
I'm proud of myself.
You better be.
Because relationships is easy to resist. It's easy because once you've been hurt so many times, a lot of us shut down. And my shirt, that's why it says fight for love.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's out there and listening, where this is going to go after this, but not giving up on love in itself was an accomplishment.
Very true.
And dating and allowing yourself to be courted in the District of Columbia.
Jesus. I couldn't imagine.
This is why I want to get into the marriage sides, but I'll give you the side up for those of us who are marriage minded.
Yeah. Which is an intentional thing, like
it's
you
intentional.
said. Because men don't find girlfriends. A man finds a wife. So you already have to be that coming in order for you to think that you can receive that from a man. So that's kind of the first step, but you go ahead because it's the marriage minded.
You're marriage minded.
Yeah. And you got to be walking around like a wife.
And that meditation part,
come on.
A lot of that.
Come on.
And a lot of forgiving yourself.
First.
Right? Because some of us are looking for this person, man, woman, whatever your spouse is, to just have this laundry list of things to do. And it's like, have you even forgiven yourself?
Yeah. Or started with what you need in order to be something to somebody else. Yeah. I'm always very thorough whenever I think about, I always think about my needs first. Because if I'm no good for myself, there's no way in the world I can share my goodness with other people. Mm-hmm. And so I think even being marriage-minded or in a marriage, you always have to realize that even though you're in a relationship with somebody else, the relationship starts with you being whole first. That's true. And I'm not saying that 100%. I'm just getting as whole as you can.
And even to the point where I'm going to be honest. When I started courting, when the person who's courting me now was like, you're my wife.
Bless it. And thank you.
That's how he came to me.
Claim it.
immediately.
I like men like that.
And
talk to me like that again. What you saying?
You know, that's what
you say?
I did feel that way, but I also felt like,
where's the ring?
Let's
how long? I'm not playing with you. No, but seriously. He says he was that's that man wife. That's what he said.
That's how he approached me, and I said, "Listen, I'm healing."
Jesus.
I said I'm intentionally healing, and I want to attract. I'm committed to attracting healed people in my life, and this is who I am. And I was honest about my pain. I was honest about where I was at that time. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't about me being perfect or anybody else being perfect. Yeah. It was about, can you be vulnerable and authentic and transparent with who you are right now?
Yeah. That is so hard to say to a black man. So, one of the things, if I had to be intentional about being marriage-minded while I was being courted, or, looking to date anybody to do anything long-term or short-term or whatever it needed to be, I would now, thinking back on how I would approach it as a dating person, is
tell us how you did it before.
Specific work are you doing now
for yourself
to show up for yourself?
Mm-hmm. And one of that is saying no. I mean, I'm celebrating 20. Excuse me. See, she got me on wine, y'all.
This is champagne.
Excuse me.
Drink. We have the
champagne.
Crawford.
Champagne. And I'm enjoying this, by the way. But I was in transition from a political campaign, and you knew about it. You supported that, and I thank you.
When I saw my name on that step and repeat, I said, "And pretty, thank you, and thank you."
I am so grateful.
Oh, absolutely, and we'll do it again and again and again.
Here's the thing:
until you're the mayor.
We need more regular, everyday people who come from where we've come from, who come from building out of nothingness, to be the ones at the front running for office.
Yeah, running for office, and then even if that's not your portion, supporting who is in the trenches.
There you go.
Because to me, the work that the campaigns and the political figures that do in the community is the most important. All of that superiorist, 3 legislatures of government, cha-cha. I'm talking about in Southeast DC. Who did something? What's going on? Oh, okay. What programs are over there? Who implemented them?
And you're that, to your point, it's been 20 years of that for me. This year, it started in 2002 with Sasha Bruce Youth Work.
Bless your heart. I remember them kids in the school.
You understand what I'm saying? And so it's been 20 years of listen, and most of it was products of our environment.
But the indifferent ones too, because they were still choosing to be better for themselves.
That was
Sasha Bruce was more like a choice.
It was a turning point for me.
Ooh.
It was an opportunity for me to see myself. I went through my rites of passage at Sasha Bruce.
That's awesome.
I did a transition from childhood to womanhood, and I think that every young girl should have, girl and boy, should have a rites of passage to make that transition. But ever since then, I've felt convicted to be available.
You better know your work early.
I did. And so for 20 years, I did not know how to say no. So that was me learning how to say yes to me first. Began, to your earlier point, feeling like, is this vain? I didn't know how. I learned community care before self-care.
Yeah.
That is a trauma.
That is 100% a trauma. And the fact that no is such a traumatic word is a trauma within itself. Because first of all, it's a complete sentence.
Yeah.
And I don't know, when I think about the word no, I just think that I'm not available to it. I don't think that I'm not available to it yet. I can get around to it. It's just something I'm absolutely unable to complete. So no. Which is the complete sentence.
For that right
I'm
now.
unavailable for, no, not even right now. I'm just unavailable for it. And I think
this is a great exercise.
In relationships, I really think that when no is said, it shows you the testament of the character to the people that are around you.
There you go.
That can be to your mom. That can be to your father, your sisters, your brothers, your friends, people who you have said yes in the same, for the same things, but you choosing for it to be no at a point. That's trauma.
Yeah.
All in itself. But it doesn't have to be, and I don't know why we are not available to that no.
I'm gonna go back to,
because it doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good
if it's not serving you. But it feels good to me to know that I'm not obligated.
I want to participate.
Yeah, but to know that my no means that I'm not obligating myself to whatever this is. That can be cashing a check. That can be making dinner tonight. That can be to go to a soiree. That can be just
anything.
I need rest, so no.
And that was for a long time difficult. And so when I started to set those boundaries, the people who I had always said yes to began to respond to me differently. And I realized that it wasn't reciprocal. And me showing up for all these people, but so it's two parts of this, right? As a service, as a person in service.
It's a person in service.
There are people who just do not have the capacity to show up for you, and
very true.
Those are the people who need you the most. Those are people who need the resources, the support the most. And then there are people who do have the capacity and are just not interested in showing up for you.
Yeah.
And the earlier you can make those distinctions, and setting your intention on having reciprocal relationships, the better.
Yeah.
And that's relationship.
I agree
to your
with that.
point, it's any relationship.
Yeah.
And I did not set those boundaries early enough to where now I am assessing 20 years of service and I'm looking back to say, where did I need to perform better? Where did I need to set healthier boundaries?
Yeah.
Where did I need to communicate that my intention is to be reciprocal in this relationship of mutual support?
Yeah. And that feels good for you to say that out loud. I know it does.
It really does.
It does.
I'm proud.
Because now your next level of work is going to be so much higher. It's going to be so much more thorough.
Yeah.
Like it's going to feel better to you because you're making yourself available to whatever you need to be available within yourself.
Courting is a part of that
Courting
priority.
is a part.
Family is a part of that priority. Black families, black love is so revolutionary.
It is the revolution.
Really is.
Now put some respect on it. The world does not move without black. Its essence, its creativity, its all in all. The world does not move. It doesn't even move without our dollar that they stripped from us. Where's the stimulus checks? It doesn't even.
You want to know what burns me up?
I want to know what burns you up about it. Because I myself didn't receive one. That's not my business. That's a conversation for another day. But for the people, how long since it's been? How they just stop? Burns me up. The point is that black people are. With the 3 ellipses, they just are. It's never ending. And it's so beautiful when you can procreate, recreate, or create, period, with a black woman, a black man.
Yeah.
And I think in families, August, don't say that. Oh, I was about to say that. Don't say that, August.
Ooh, wait, just no. I'm
really not going to say it.
I want to know.
I'll tell you after. Remind me about when I said black families, what you wanted me to say. But no, I think the procreation of black families is so necessary.
It is. I mean, you think about, you talk about the stimulus checks. I mean, what burns me up is that we barely offered a stimulus to get someone through the month, let alone the year.
Yeah.
When I looked at the cost of living around the country. I mean, not only in the nation's capital.
Yeah, because we're one of the highest, rent-based cities.
Literally.
However,
but in the country,
the
stimulus check did not supply the needs of a family for an entire month.
No.
Let alone
2.5 weeks.
Let alone 2.5 weeks or an annual, to consider this to be the annual give back. While we find all sorts of resources and dollars. And it is not to say that people in foreign countries do not need our aid, because it is also a reality.
Yeah.
But the way and how quickly we found resources for foreign aid before we take care of those who are our direct subordinates, our direct tax-paying base.
That's right.
we're failing America. We're
Yeah.
failing the American people.
Yeah.
And it is just as simple as that.
That
And
burns me up the most, though.
And right now,
How many people are homeless? Forget a stimulus check. How many people are homeless and we're sending relief to different countries, but there's no relief to the people who live under the K Street Bridge?
I'm telling you, it's a
that's in
federal
every state.
disaster.
Yeah.
And you want to
And
talk
it's
about
intentional.
homelessness. Think about how many men have not been pardoned from crimes they did not commit in the United States.
Oh, child.
You want to talk about how many families were ripped apart because of the war on drugs that happened on my front porch.
Yeah.
Okay. Those families have not been restored or reconciled with.
And will never be.
And we're dealing in foreign aid and looking at freeing families who are in, foreign prisons.
Yeah.
But we haven't managed to get a governance properly over our own.
Yeah.
It burns me up.
Yeah,
August.
but even if it's our own, if we take it a step further, it affects us black women and men the absolute most.
I saw a video.
Why they just don't drop us off back in Africa? Like,
but you know what?
On a plane.
Even if you come back to Africa,
No,
you
I'm
know
just
how much
kidding,
time. But this is an important conversation.
No, but you had to build that up from the bottom and
from the bottom.
But
most of us are searching for our lineage today.
Yeah,
we shouldn't have to pay for that.
We shouldn't have. But I also don't want to put my spit or blood in anything and send it to.
Respectfully.
Respectfully. That scares me a lot. I'm like, what you gonna do? Mutate me? I believe they will.
It is all kinds of realities happening right now.
Yeah.
And I think that the best thing our government can do is work.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to work, get out the way.
Yeah.
Cut my taxes down. Cut my federal and local taxes down if you're not going to put my tax dollars to work on my behalf.
I should have had you on the episode that I just recorded, but
period. If I am a part of the largest tax base that generates the largest amount of revenue for this country,
and they take the most,
and you take the most taxes, cut them down.
Yeah.
Stop looking for me at the end of the year.
Just look for the man that bought Twitter.
You know what? I saw that deal didn't go through, and they're trying to now sue him because the deal didn't go through.
Please sue him and then cut our taxes down because you sued him.
It all comes down to still the black family, right?
Yeah.
Because you pay less taxes as a married couple,
yeah,
than individuals do.
Yeah.
And people,
but that's if you know better and you have someone who is absolutely skilled in those areas to make sure that you get the best breaks.
I'm receiving. I'm
CPS.
intentional receiving with.
I said CPS.
With
Jesus. CPAs.
Tax professionals.
Yeah.
I'm intentional with receiving the best tax professionals, the best financial advisors.
And I want them all black.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
Okay? Shop black, buy black, invest in black all day long.
Support black.
There you go.
And just be the blackest you can be. I love being black.
That's where it's about because we didn't realize that. I saw a video the other day and it was a university that put the video together and it talked about how the government removed the fathers and the males from the home, sent them to war and or prison and or in the grave.
That's exactly what you're talking about. The war on drugs is exactly that.
And then the woman married the government.
Yeah. This is what you're talking about. When you said it happened with you, this is what the war was not only on drugs, but the war was sanctioned so that Jesus, what burns me up. The war was sanctioned on drugs just so that they can start with this feminist movement, one, and then two, removing a black man out of the home who had all of the skills with the hands and the plumbing, and they were making cars, and they started to destroy communities, and they had no choice but to smoke the crack that they dropped off because of depression and anxiety and not knowing that I could provide. But then you bring in food stamps and you bring in medical insurance, and as long as that black man don't live in your house, you can get all this aid. It's the same war that you were just speaking about. So
you better talk about it.
It burns me up the most, but I always get hope when I talk to women who never give up on the black man, especially because I have 3 black sons, and my mantra, I know it's cliche, but I'm raising sons that your children don't have to heal from.
Where do sons come from?
Child, blessed be.
No, say that part again. You are raising sons.
I'm raising 3 sons, wisdom, honor, and chosen, that I plan on intentionally not giving them anything that I can stop from. I just don't want people to have to heal from
Childhood
trauma.
I felt that.
Yeah.
I felt that.
Yeah. Intentionally. So in moments when I know that I need a second,
yeah,
I express that and I remove myself.
Yeah.
Because I didn't come from a calm household. It was screaming everywhere. I knew in my mind that I wouldn't be a horror. I'm a yell laugher, and I'm literally the loudest person in the room all the time because it's just my nature. However, I knew I wasn't going to raise my children in a home when they heard elevated voices, it scared them.
Yeah, that's a trigger.
So we're laughing when we're that loud, and all of us is loud in our house. Child, it's a loud house, but it's a beautiful thing to know that I'm being intentional about how I want them to treat other people the older that they get. I'm big on empathy. I teach that before ABCs.
And
I teach feelings before I teach you how to tie your shoes in my house.
There you go.
And you'll figure that out. You'll figure out how to spell your name later. But what you won't be able to figure out is how you made a person feel, how it affects you, and what you're going to do about that feeling.
And them watching you respect their dad, their husband, talk about that relationship, because I feel like we got into the conversation.
Yeah.
You are a happily married woman with
he's
a
a great guy.
family. And them seeing you respect their dad and elevate their dad as the leader of the home, what is that like for you?
What it's like for me is it's a whole bunch of learning. Yeah. I'm constantly learning. I don't think any relationship is absolutely perfect.
I'll toast to that. Let's toast to that.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be in a perfect relationship because I don't believe in facades. I believe that when you are absolutely okay with what you have, you work on to make sure that the portion is always as balanced as it can be. And sometimes your balance will be up, sometimes it'll be leaning. But to me, relationships are never just going to be on a flat surface. So respect is huge, not only for me to my husband, but from him to me.
Yes.
And I feel like even in, just because this will heal somebody.
Yeah.
Even in moments when you feel like you will choose to disrespect, emasculate, even though you know you have the right to, or you feel like you have the words to. I think the best thing that you can always do is look at yourself and stop yourself. I'm a wordy woman. My mother will cut you with her words, and I didn't realize that I had the same intensity until I started to reevaluate how I was coming off to my siblings, or just people that I'm interacting with. Everything doesn't have to have some type of undercutting to it.
Yeah.
It's healthy for you to always want to be kind to people first. And I do the best that I can with doing that. But sometimes, people, when they're in relationships, they will go to what is comfortable for them.
Yes.
And women, if you have that nature, honestly, when you know that what you will say or can say will have a lasting effect, the only thing that I will ever unction black women to black men and black men to black women is to stop speaking. And remove yourself.
I'm going to tell you, this is no joke. Yeah. This was day before yesterday where I had a lot of choice words.
Yeah, but look, you don't have to leave your choice faces. The faces can say the words for you.
I'm going to tell you what I did. I took the night. That day, I wrote down what I was really angry about.
Which I love that you said that.
I was like, well, why? Because
you got to get it out.
Validate my feelings first.
Period.
That's the first and foremost thing, right? Because sometimes when we're angry, sometimes it's for nothing. Yeah. But other times it's triggered of something.
Yeah.
And you want to do your due diligence to get to the bottom of that. Like, what is the root cause of
I read back on my notes from 2014. I be like, girl, that wasn't that serious. I'm glad you didn't say nothing.
Okay, because you gotta figure it out, right?
Wasn't that serious?
I wrote it down. And the root cause for me was I asked for something, you agreed and did not do it.
Okay.
That stems from how many times have people told us we were going to do something, they never did it.
And it burns me up.
Oh, it burns me up.
No.
I would rather you
stand
tell
10
me.
toes down on that. You're going to fulfill this. Did you choose another date? Because I still need it. I'm the same way, Sharece. I don't tell me you're going to do something. I'd rather you say, I forgot, it slipped my mind.
I'd rather you say you don't have the capacity. I'd rather you tell me no. Because when you tell me yes,
I can process it.
I'm now anticipating you to actually honor your word. No. Because that is the level
I'm putting a demand on it that you honor it.
So I wrote it down. I meditated and I said, you know what? I only want to have the most elevated conversations with you. So I took a day off from sharing my thoughts. But here's what I want to say. Perhaps I did not check in with you first about your capacity before making a request that may felt like a demand. Because there are people who will say yes to also because they want to do it.
Yeah.
Because they have good intentions.
That's right.
Right? Not because they're just, not interested in
and who just doesn't want to make something happen for somebody that they share care for.
And there you go, right? Yeah. So I know your intentions were good.
Absolutely.
So now here's my perspective on how this impacted me when you didn't do it.
Yeah.
And that form of communication, I'm going to tell you, it felt so much better.
Level. It's a different level
than what I was going to say before.
Because I had something to say. And said it. And typed it. However, you'll never know. However, you'll never know. And I think it's okay.
I was so proud.
And you should be. Because that's you evolving in your mental state.
Yeah.
You not even needing to get that off to somebody who you honor or revere. Like it had to feel really, really good.
It did.
Yeah.
I'm proud.
But also not saying something is just as important of you saying something.
Yeah.
But I really believe that.
The most important thing is to validate how you feel. I think first, even with all of that, right? And validating how you feel doesn't mean that you need to go, to your point, chop that man or woman's head off.
No.
Because of how you feel. Because they may not even consider your perspective.
And most times, if it's a conversation where it's either argumentative or somewhat it could turn into a combative situation, both parties have already made up in their mind how I see what's going on.
Yeah.
Tabling discussions is the new sexy for me.
Yeah.
Pausing and saying,
I don't have the words right now.
Child. And walking back, I might need to work on the child, might need to work on the hand flick, but to just remove yourself, it's the most simplest thing that you can do, because what I have noticed is that I would rather somebody put their hands on me, not a man, because I don't fight men. I would rather somebody put their hands on me before they cut me with their words. And I noticed that when I used to grow up getting jumped all the time. I would rather argue with a whole bunch of people. I would rather swing first. Sorry, God, than to deal with cutting words.
Yeah.
I'm never going to forget you said that to me. Ever. And although I can forgive you through it, the fact that you felt led for that to come out your mouth.
You've been wanting to say it.
No, but especially because I be having a lot of stuff to say too. And if I'm holding mine in, I mean, Jesus. You didn't leave space enough to pause.
You know what?
That's therapy, though.
I am grateful for this conversation. Listen, first of all, I'm grateful for your platform. I have to come back here.
You have to. It's mandatory.
I have to.
We got to put a demand on earth for it. I put demands on it. And I do that to men and God. You do it to God first. You put a demand on him. And then he got to follow suit.
This is a therapeutic couch right here. It's nice and green. Green is my color.
Sharece, I wish you the absolute best.
Thank you.
You have to come back and chat with me.
Do.
Things burn you up just like they burn me up.
Yes.
And you are such an amazing person. I can't wait to see what God does with you, with your career, with your family life, with your love life, and your being. You're such a sweet spirit. All since I've known. And it's just good. It's good. It feels good to talk to women. It feels good to have elevating conversation. It feels good to laugh.
It does.
And it not always just be so bad.
And not to always have to have everything figured out either.
No. And not looking for it to be.
And there you go.
I love how when you first came in here, you said, I'm taking it a day at a time.
Day at a time.
That's my mantra. Because God going to fix it. He going to heal me. He He's going to deliver. He's going to make it sure that I'm just fine. I mean, so as long as I'm stuck in this 24, and like I told you when we talked a few weeks ago, just staying present.
Yes.
Memories are a real thing.
Yes, they are.
And holding on to them and guarding your heart enough to say that, you know what, today felt great.
It did.
Because we never know what tomorrow going to be. Okay. Jesus.
And when you can find those moments in the days that don't feel great, it's just as magical.
Yeah. But we weren't called to have all good days. So that's why I'm always so happy.
Creating it. You gotta create it.
Purposefully.
There's no other answer.
Because maybe from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. it was cool, but as soon as 9 p.m. hit, what happened?
You know, at this point, it is no such thing as faking it. Because you have to create it.
Yeah.
I think that is the reality.
And it's a true strength. And I wish you more of your realities being set in motion, being purposeful about them, staying in your intent.
Oh, you're coming with me.
And fight with the people.
You're a part of this process.
At this point, put me on the roster.
You're a part of this process. So just know you're coming with me.
No, I'm excited for all that you are. Please.
I'll be back for relationship
I'll put
tips.
her ats in the things. Wherever this video is found, you'll be able to find Sharece. She's such a sweet soul, and she does it for the culture. Literally, not figuratively.
We love you.
As usual, this has been a great time on What Burns Me Up, the podcast. Remember, if there is smoke somewhere, there might be some fire. And child, that's probably going to burn me up. Until next time, y'all. Peace.
Bye.
I like the little peace. Don't do that, August.
First of all, those nails are together. Refer me to.
Thank you. Oh, you need Felicia in your life. Yeah, the baddest and she fast.
Yep, refer me to Felicia.
She down to the upper mark, girl.